Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining us today for another episode of The Change Collective. In the last episode, we discussed the biggest changes coming out of COVID to how we work, how we learn, how we live. So these changes often cause emotional upheaval. So I wanted to talk about today about how to cope with change. So Matt, you've been in change for a very long time, much as I have. So what are your top tips to maintain one's mental health and well-being?
Yeah, there's a few, but the couple that I'd probably make sure that people lean towards. First one, very obvious, support network. Making sure that you've got the right people that you can lean on, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's co-workers. So don't necessarily worry about if you've got a work issue that you still have to stay isolated from your friends and family. They would become more prevalent these days. Also, in terms of coping with change, there's a need to understand what your body is telling you. So it's important to maintain health and well-being during that time. So there is still the ability, even in some quarters of the world where they're being locked down again or being restricted from access, there is still the ability to do healthy activities. Go for walks in the times that you're allocated to go outside and smell the roses, so to speak. But you can do activities in your own home, making sure that you can do some stretches and so forth. Make sure you're staying away from your computer, because if you can get that designated place away from your computer, away from your workspace, it allows you to mentally step away from work. Because if you're at home and you're constantly, like I am at the moment, constantly working from a desk, from in front of a camera, it's important to take that time to step away. Make sure that workspace is away from your everyday living so that you can take that break. So they're my two probably big tips that I would suggest that people take a look at. But don't forget, support is one of the most important things. There are also there are great people on LinkedIn in your community who can help you out with whether it's counselling or with the professional services that can help you. My biggest point to everyone is, please don't go through this alone. The important thing is, and particularly for guys like us, I know I had to sort of struggle to let go and to actually allow people to help me through this very weird change that we're obviously going through. But it's important to let go of that and to actually reach out and seek help. It's a very important point, particularly for us guys. I know we're all very big and bravado when it comes to trying to cope, but it's important to always reach out. How about yourself?
That's a fantastic point, Matt. For me, the number one tip would be pay attention to what you put in your head and what you put in your mouth, as in the thoughts that you're putting in your
Yes.
head. It doesn't help you to constantly scroll through facts and figures about the escalating COVID deaths or cases. If you find after interacting with someone, you feel a little bit less down, then to minimize the contact with that person. Maybe they're not in a great space. So I'm a big believer in surrounding yourself with positive people and read positive things, affirmations, whatever does it for you. It really does have an impact. And of course, what you put in your mouth, be healthy. Some foods impact your mood. So, research what they are. Like, for example, bananas, they're said to combat depression because of their high potassium.
Potassium,
So,
yeah.
yeah, eat feel-good foods and just be kind to yourself. We're all in this together.
Exactly. And make
Mm,
sure that whilst I said, reach out to people yourself, but reach out to people to see how they are as well. Don't
mm.
necessarily need to know that it's all about you. You could reach out to somebody and you may have an issue or a similar issue that you can share and you can talk through and help one another out through. But yeah, no, they're fantastic tips. Well done.
Great discussion. And there is another episode of The Change Collective. Stay tuned for next week. See you then.